Alright, well, this next section is just next to where I was working before. You guys can't see it, but there's all sorts of crap down here. Got my headphones in because I've been listening to podcasts while I do this. Yeah, so there's like some containers and things down here that I've been putting aside for storage and trying to work out where to use them. I've got my cart that I've just moved over there. Some of this is going to stay pretty much the same, like the books. I'm pretty happy with how they are. I may keep this still as just decorative, which is what it is now. It is nice to have some elements of just some things to, enjoy in the studio rather than having it all storage. Potentially, I think I will keep it that way because I don't think I have anything I need to put there. So that's all right. But there are some things that are going to change. And I am waiting on some head busts to arrive that I've purchased. So you can't see at the moment with how I've got the camera. But at the top of this, I have a full kind of head and shoulder bust and then some necklace busts. And what I'm hoping to do is swap out a couple of the necklace busts for these head and neck bust things that I got. What I hope is that I'll be able to put a necklace and a wig on the bust. Ideally, I'd like to have somewhere else to maybe like a wig rack or something. At least it's the start, and it means, dual storage in a way, like dual display, I should say. So that's what I'm going to do, and
clean up all the junk down here. Yes.
So, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of little bits and pieces that still need homes as well. So there's going to be some finessing of things on all these spots that I've done. But again, I'm going to time-lapse you guys and start working on this and see what happens. So yeah, this is my IKEA cart. Now, you've probably seen these everywhere. Every crafter and every bloody YouTuber has one of these Raskog carts. I got mine in black, no surprise. And then it kind of just sat around my studio as like a movable dumping place. And so I wasn't really utilizing it. Like, I'd usually have some kind of crap in the top that I just was being lazy and dumping in here as, just a surface to put things. And it meant that I wasn't using this cart for any projects, and when I was like filming a project or whatever, this just became a nuisance, so it was just in the way. So I really wanted to do it up and like make it useful. So I ended up going and buying these like containers from IKEA. I actually bought like a whole set of containers before this, which I was convinced was the right one. And it, it's that age-old thing of, check the sizes or whatever of what you're buying, because they were too short. They were like little cups with like a little hanger hook over it. They looked just like ones I'd seen other crafters use, but I think there must be two sizes or something, because the ones they had seemed much more decent size that you could put paintbrushes in or do whatever. The hook seemed a bit more substantial and it seemed to like clip on better. Mine were not doing that. Mine were terrible. They were not useful for what I was intending, so yeah, I ended up giving them to my sister because I didn't know what to do with them. So I got these. I've forgotten what these are called now, so I'm going to have to pop something on the screen to say what they are. But these have a little clip on the back and they hook real nice on here. I wish I had have gotten black, and I might even spray paint these. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. Just because, you know, they don't really fit my aesthetic. I know a lot of people would probably be cool with the white ones, but I like darker colours. Purple would have been alright, red would have been alright, black, dark green, anything like that, but yeah. But, you know, look, I wanted it to be functional, so function first, beauty next. I also got these little guys, which are little magnetic containers that you can put things into. You can see into them as well, and you can like stick them on. I went down a rabbit hole of these Raskog carts and a whole bunch of videos, so I don't know what videos they were because they weren't people I normally watch, so I can't tell you exactly who I got this idea from, but I'm sure it was a YouTube video. Either that or Pinterest, I can't remember. There was some rabbit holes. And it was just like all of these like DIY how you do up things on your Raskog. And I tried to do a few different ideas. I didn't go too nuts because like I don't even have anything useful on here yet, so I thought I'll ease myself into having this be somewhat useful instead of having every container hanging off it that I possibly can. But you know, look, you could put these on the lower racks as well. You could have them at the front too if you wanted to really cover it and stuff. I got a different container for like the side of mine, which is this little bin, or that's what they called it anyway. I think it was meant for the car, and it's got a clip on the back, so I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, there you go. So it's got a little clip, so it'll clip onto the side here. So I figured I can have like this larger one. I'm thinking of getting another one of these for the other side, so I may end up doing that, but for now, like, this is great. Like, it fits stuff into it, so that's perfect. I have absolutely no clue what I plan to put in these, if I'm honest. It just seemed like a really great idea. So I don't know, maybe pins, needles, beads, maybe. I'm not sure yet. So, but you know, look, I've got options, so I'm just gonna stick all of these on places. Now I do have one more thing that I got to sit in the top, well, maybe the top, but potentially elsewhere. Alright, so I got these things from Spotlight, which, if you're not familiar with Spotlight, that's a craft store in Australia here. And what are they called? Crafter's Choice Art Craft Caddy. So I figured these would be great because they've got a little handle on them, and you know, you can sit them in. I was hoping I'd be able to fit two next to each other, but they're a little large, so that's alright. So it just means I'll just have to fit one per trolley, per level of the trolley, I guess, which is good because they were on special for 3 for like, I think $10.50, around about that, because Spotlight tend to have some sales at the end of the year, which you can get some pretty good deals. So, you know, I kind of went a bit nuts, as you do. So yeah, so I think I'll put one of these on each level, and I figured it's good because of the handle, because like I can fill that with various things that I'm working on, and then, you know, take it out and put it on the table to continue working with whatever I'm using or whatever. And then if I decide to have these elsewhere, same situation, I can fill it full of useful things and, you know, shift it about with ease with the little handle. So I'm very happy I got those. They had all different colours, and I just decided to go for purple because I like purple, and I got some other containers that were purple, so I figured I'd continue the theme of purple. And you know, purple's pretty, so I'm just gonna like fiddle about and add these bits onto my trolley here, and then work out some things that maybe could live in the trolley that might be useful for a lot of different projects, probably things like glue, maybe some pliers, scissors, and stuff like that. So this is the, well, I want to say finished, but it's not finished. This is the Raskog trolley so far. I'm pretty happy with it so far. So yeah, filled it up with some things that I thought I might use more frequently, and I've just grabbed a few different bits and pieces. I'm sure this is going to evolve and change. I could probably put some paintbrushes in this too because I use those frequently. I put a glue gun in there. Unfortunately, my glue gun is not, it doesn't have like the Australian plug, so I have to have an adapter. I don't love this glue gun. I really want to get a new one, so that's something that eventually I'll get, but for now I've got this crappy one. A lonely glue stick, you know, because that's handy. I grabbed a bunch of glues that I use more frequently. I have a bunch other types of glue, but, you know, E6000, of course. You guys always see me use this Boyle's glue, a PVA, and then the dual bond one. They're the ones I use the most. Sticky tape, because that's always helpful. Bunch of different tools, just a couple of little pliers. Some sculpting tools and like some cutters. I don't know if these need to be in here necessarily, but I've got some sandpaper in there and a screwdriver. I've got scissors in there, and then I've got my heat gun, and then I've got my hot fix tool, and just some paper like for wiping my hands and stuff. Couple of like rag things and some triangles, some thread. That's specifically beading thread. And then, I don't know, underneath, like, I've got, at the moment I have my vial, my dark crystal vial, and that's just living there temporarily because it's waiting on some batteries to arrive, and I haven't found a home for it yet, so I'll leave it there for now because it kind of fits for now, and I don't know what else I'm putting in here yet anyway, so I didn't put much on the second trolley or third trolley yet because I'm still not totally sure what I'll need, but I did put an iron down there because I figured, you know, that's a good spot for it to sit because, you know, iron is handy for costumes. Behind the iron I've got some like methylated spirits and turpentine because I figured that could be handy. I've got some rubber bands in this little container there, and then I did put some pins in there, some little safety pins, and I haven't filled up the other containers yet with things. So yeah, that's what I've got so far. It definitely seems more like not user-friendly, what's the word I'm looking for? More helpful, I guess. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but, you know, just helpful. Helpful's a word. Helpful's a great word. It's got actual useful things on it now instead of just a bunch of junk. I had this is what I had on the bottom one, this tray of either broken jewelry that I haven't got around to fixing and random assortments of crap. And that was just nothing was ever going to happen with that sitting in there like that. So that's I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing with I don't know what I'm doing with any of this junk right now. Let's just say that. I've got so much crap. It's, when you clean out an area or like you move or something like that, and then you pack everything, and then there's always those last little bits, random bits and pieces, and you always end up with a drawer full of random crap. This is random crap right now, and I'm gonna have to start sifting through it and working out where it's gonna go. But yeah, that's the Raskog tray or trolley. I have got my cooling on because I'm stinking hot at the moment. It's just a bit like stuffy up here. Yes. Now you guys saw me like start to organize this area here. And then I just wasn't happy with it. I just could not work out what I wanted. Everything I moved around, I was like, no, that's not helpful. That's not good. That's really annoying. Largely, I was unhappy with the bead storage. The trays are fine, and yeah, they're all different sizes and stuff, but they do the job, and I don't really want to buy a whole bunch of new trays just so that they match. But what I do want is something so that I don't have to pull every single tray out to get to the bottom tray. I want more shelves. So my lovely husband has started cutting some pieces of wood for me. You can see he has done some drill holes in there, which will have those little draw duvalackers. I don't know what they're called. Those little things you like push into the hole for your shelf to sit on. We bought a bunch of those, and he's just cutting some, it's just MDF that he's using. And yeah, popping those things in there, and then we'll put, you can see there's not much gap between these shelves either, and that's because I don't need a lot of gap. We measured how much I'd need to be able to put my trays in there. Hopefully that'll work out all right. I guess I'll see once I put them in. Hopefully they'll fit and I can organize them better. The idea being once they're in, and I'm using this third one as well, once they're in, I'll have more shelves and I'll be able to easily pull out some bead trays from the bottom without having to pull out the ones from the top as well. Although I am looking at this kind of wondering if there's enough gap here because of the thickness of the wood, but I'll trust my husband that he's measured that correctly until I know otherwise. But this has happened before where he doesn't think about these things, so I'm a little bit hoping, oh gosh, I hope he's taken that into account. But we'll see. Hopefully that works out well. So guys, here is the shelves cut and put into place. I do need to paint these still. I did ask Dan about the shelf height, and he had a little moment of panic when I mentioned it because he didn't think about the shelf height. Luckily though, as it turns out, it fits everything. There was a couple of possible squeezy areas, but seems to be okay. As you can see though, I do have these containers down here, although one of them's empty, it's just sitting there. Those two containers though don't fit but I'm probably going to swap out these smaller, because these are just really small ones, and there's more room back further, but it'd be too hard to get them out, and these aren't pull out shelves, unfortunately. That would have been better, but you know, it is what it is. So so I'll probably take those out and stack them somewhere else, and put those two in there, because I use these more often, and these are really specialty crystals, most of them. I don't mind those being elsewhere. I would have preferred trying to fit them in, to be fair, but you know, like the fact that most of them fit, and I couldn't convince him to make another set of shelves for me just for a couple of containers, so that's fair enough. So yeah, that's how it is looking at the moment. I'm going to paint these now and unstack everything and stack it all back up once they're dry, and yeah, and then I'll have some very lovely little shelves. So guys, you might have noticed I've made a few changes since you saw this last. I've put my seed beads up the top. I thought it would be a good idea to have them all spread out so I can see them. There is a little bit of double up in the corner there, just because I did run out of room slightly, but not too bad really. And then a little bit of decoration in the front, and then the scales are there, which is a much better spot to have them. You can see my painted shelves now. You can see some other storage over there which had PMC and stuff in it. I've got an empty shelf, and then a range of different things. I've just neatened up some of these areas, and I've used a fair few of the spotlight totes for storing things. Like some have material. I have one with some small little pieces of the bubble wrap stuff for postage, and I've got newspaper and stuff in the bottom. I've got a set of shelves there. I'm definitely going to move that stand that's in front of those shelves. I forgot to move that before starting to film, but I need to find a home for that. It's not going to stay there because it's in the way of the shelves. But yeah, that's basically this section done now. And then I've got, you know, a few pictures up there. So I'm pretty happy with this now. I can easily get in and out of all of my trays. I managed to fit most of them after a bit of rejigging. So I'm happy about that. Coming over to this section here, you can see I've got my wig stands up there now. So I've got 2 wig stands, and they do allow me to put a piece of jewelry on them as well, which is handy. Not too much change here, just still decorative. And then some supplies for filming, just little holders and a couple of lights and things. Paperwork sections, that's like my heat torches and gas for the torches and stuff. And then mostly books there. I do have my clay thing there, my clay tool there. And then down here I did move the incense and stuff down there, and that's like you know, those melting little wax things. Empties and clothes that need to be altered. And then I decided to put in the corner little odds and ends for craft projects because they look a bit of a mess. I don't need to access them very often. It'll only be when I want to make a specific type of project using one of those things. So that was a good option to put tucked away. I did a little bit of rejigging of this, so it's looking a lot nicer. I didn't do much in the drawers. They're still pretty similar to what they were, to be honest. I do need to maybe make this a project for another time, but I've improved everything as much as I can for the moment. I think potentially I will empty everything out of there at some stage and rejig it, but they're not things I access all the time either, so I'm not too concerned about that. So yeah, that's more decorative. My cart is looking a lot more helpful. and has all the different storage solutions that I bought on there so that I can put things in there and store things, and it's going to be a lot more handy. And I've put some things in there that I would use pretty frequently, so I'm very happy about that. Back there, I did put a little bit of decoration and a Mecha box up the top, which I've used for storing things like fake flowers and stuff like that. It's a really nice large box, even bigger than a shoe box, which is what I was using before. And it's pretty looking as well, so I like that one. And that will do me for now. Coming past Mavis here. This section has been organised a bit better. I've got Lacey's stiff stuff and then a folded piece of ultra suede up there. Down here I've got those trays with ultra suedes and laces and stuff in it. Some wound lace on there. Scraps, wool tops. This section's looking more organised. You've seen this part, it didn't really change. So I've left the brushes in front of the purple thing for now because I don't have to get in and out of there all the time. If I did, I would definitely find a new home for the brushes, but I just like them being near the paint. Thought it made sense, so I left them there. The tools are in there. That potentially may change if I want to maybe put them on the other side, I think. I don't know. I'll see how I go with it being there. And that lamp doesn't have to live there. It's just an adjustable lamp, so that I sometimes do put that on just to be able to see what I'm doing with the sewing machine. But yeah, so yeah, I've got all my glitters up there. Got a little what's it called, little cake tray thing that I've put some glitters and things on, so that was a good little way of storing things. You've seen the ribbon holders, so that looks pretty cool. Now, excuse my big lights in the way, but you can probably see those cane drawers did find a home. Sitting on top of it is that displate picture. Now, I did show me putting that up on the wall, and I came into the room this morning and it had slid off the wall and gotten kind of wedged into the A-frame a bit and even damaged a bit of the blind. So yeah, unfortunately, the mounting process for that, it's just not very reliable. I followed the instructions of what you're meant to do, and the sticky stuff just came right off the wall, so I don't know. So backdrop, you guys have seen the backdrop. There's nothing different there, same. I did put all my jewelry into those drawers though, so that's all jewelry now, and moved it out of those other little drawers, so that's good having it all in one spot. You saw me paint these. I won't open them. There's not a lot of stuff in there because I don't know, I don't use it a lot. It's a little tricky to get in and out of, so I don't like to put things that I'm using frequently in there. It's more of a good storage space for things that you don't really need to use a lot of. So I've got excess bubble wrap, excess boxes for packaging, ribbon, stuff like that in there. Yeah, so that's basically it. Okay guys, well I hope you've enjoyed seeing this transformation of the studio in terms of the storage that I have here. I'm probably going to do a more detailed storage video separate to this. I just thought I would share more of a behind the scenes, you know, before and after type of video to see what my storage was like beforehand and how I've improved it now. I'm pretty happy with the outcome. It's not perfect by any stretch, but I guess like the thing is, and I always say this about the studio, is it's always growing and changing. It's never the same. So for me to say, oh, you know, this is what my studio looks like, sort of like this is what it looks like at this moment in time. And yeah, I think it's going to be working a lot better for me with this storage in place. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Hit subscribe if you definitely want to see the other storage video that I have, and some of the other bits and pieces that I've got coming as well. And for the rest of you, I'll see you next time in Faewood. Bye guys.